Hey everyone, I'm Kloo. Today we're going after one of the most popular spells in Elden Ring, Comet Azur, the I'm a fire my laser beam. But first there's a few things we gotta take care of. So we need the 60 int to use it, and then we also have to get the spell. So first things first, we're gonna run around and grab Torrent. The easiest way to do this is to grab the Grace in front of Stormgate, and you'll be able to trigger the cutscene to grab him straight away. Now we need to head to Caelid. The easiest way is to use the chest located in the Burnt Dragon Ruins. Takes you straight to a mine located in the swamp.
To aid you, need to the foot. Then summon me. I bequeath.
Teleport back to the first step Grace and head over to the Burnt Dragon Ruins. Head down this stairway to the chest. If you get boxed in by the rats, just roll away and circle them for a bit. You should be able to run into the room and open the chest, and then walking onto the chest you should be able to avoid the majority of damage from the rats. Now we're going to need a better staff and a strong spell. So we're going to make our way through the mines to the streets of Sage's Ruins, and then onwards to the abandoned cave to pick up our scarab. Down these stairs is a very useful spell, Rock Sling. Rock Sling does incredible damage, and also hits poise pretty hard, making it very useful for humanoids and dragons. I find it's better to quit out here to reset the enemies, making it easier to grab the next item. So now we're going for the Meteorite Staff. This staff has S scaling in intelligence, making it very strong in the early game. Although you can't upgrade it, it's still a really powerful starting staff. After grabbing the staff, we're going to finish making our way to the abandoned cave, so we can pick up our golden scarab. Rock Sling's really useful, makes quick work of the bosses, as long as you just keep your distance and line up the 3 rocks. We really need the gold scarab to ramp up our rune gain, that way we can hit that 60 int requirement. When you defeat the bosses, make sure you equip the gold scarab right away. That way you can make use of its effect. Instead of dropping 7,000 souls, they'll drop 8,400. So we're just going to continue boosting our intelligence every step of the way before we go pick up some more useful things. First we need a weapon art. So we're grabbing Bloody Slash so that we can add bleed to our weapon. So we're just going to defeat this knight, then go to the hold and equip it. After that, you want to go grab a gold pickle Foulfoot. The earliest one is to the west of the First Steps Grace, along the beach just behind the chapel you come out of. After grabbing it, you want to head back to the abandoned cave. From here we're going to make our way up to Greyroll's Dragon Burrow, so we can grab our 3 runes. Using your bleed weapon, make your way to his tail. Now you just want to hack away, it might take a little bit, but have some patience. Standing here you can't trigger him. Now make sure you use the foot, that way you can maximize the runes you gain. So again, we're just going to continue pumping our int, getting ever closer to that 60. Now you just want to grab another gold pickle Foulfoot from Patches in Murkwater Cave. After that, you want to head back to Stormgate, because we're going to be making our way a very long distance to the Atlus Plateau, all without picking up a single grace or triggering any location markers. From my testing, I do believe that this is what triggers NPCs, so if you avoid any location markers or graces, you don't actually trigger entering the area, so we can avoid all the NPC triggers within this next area by avoiding all those locations. So by locations I mean like ruins or anything that pops up on the map. And then also we're not picking up a single grace, so we're not resting anywhere or saving our spawn point. Unfortunately we do have to visit the Hermit Village, so we can't avoid triggering the Volcano Mana stuff. So although we will advance some NPC quests, we're pretty much keeping it a fresh save. So for this we're going to be avoiding the lift as well and heading through the ravine. So as you can see, it's a very long distance to travel. But it's pretty easy to avoid all the enemies. Just run past them with Torrent, avoid all the locations by not going towards anything that looks like one. It's pretty simple. See a giant tower, circle around it. See some weird glowing thing, circle around it. Other than that, you can notice on the map there's a little cut. So this is a spot where we can actually die and trigger a statue. And this way we'll respawn down below inside a forest. It's pretty useful. I'm not sure what it skips. I'm just really trying to avoid triggering any locations. So yeah, so here we're just going to jump off and die once we see that we've got the statue trigger, and we'll respawn down here in the forest. Avoid all the arrows, pretty simple. Now we're just going to make our way up this cliff and look for some tombstones protruding along the side. So these are safe points to make your way down. So this way we can get down to the highway and make it. And this way we can head down to the highway and head across it to the ravine. There is a guy shooting stuff up ahead, so try to stick along the walls. Other than that, look for more tombstones and jump down. Now, heading through the ravine is somewhat annoying, especially without a grace. There are a few enemies that can be somewhat of a pain. But other than that, we're just trying to get as high as possible to hit the Atlus Plateau. So just run and avoid everything. It's pretty simple. A lot of the miners won't trigger unless you grab their gemstone. Now we have to deal with the bats, and the bats are what are annoying. So they can hit you on the ladders because they can fly, and this one particularly. So here you want to quit out, and you either want to try and kill this bat queen, I think they are, or just lure it down. So if it does poison you, it is pretty much game over, unless you're happy to grab graces, of course. But other than that, just bait it down and make your way up the ladder. There's one more group of annoying ones, though one of them actually uses spells. But if you sort of just circle around on the coming elevator, you can avoid some of the hits at least. So here's another boss we have to take care of. It's a worm, so it's pretty simple. You can avoid most of its attack by just staying away, or if it charges at you, just circling around. Of course, look out for all the lava, but other than that, just sort of whittle it down with your glintstone pebbles from a distance. Even in the second phase, it's fairly simple to maintain the distance. You can try using Rock Sling, but I found it's a bit tedious with the wind-up. And the way I did it, I definitely didn't want to die repeatedly. It was a good 10 to 20 minutes getting back. But other than that, make sure to use the foot once it's almost dead, because we're really trying to maximize the runes we get. I think we need another 130,000 from this point to hit 60. So we will need to do a few other things once we do get the spell. But other than that, you can sort of use the middle pillar here and just circle around it. You can actually trap them on it like that. But it's pretty easy to keep your distance. Right, so now that that's taken care of, I'm just going to continue pumping out int. Right, so now that that's taken care of, we can't actually level up because I don't want to grab the grace. So we'll be making our way to the volcano. So from there, we sort of need to go up and around, and you have to circle around the whole volcano to get to the Hermit Village, where the spell is. But it's again pretty simple. you can avoid the majority of locations. Although once you hit the mountain, obviously you have to run through the village, so you can't avoid triggering that. But I know a few NPCs have either volcano mana triggers or here, for instance. So this is counted as the... or for here. So this is counted as part of the Atlus Plateau. I think it's called the Wyndham Ruins. And you can avoid it just by circling around it like that. Other than that, it's just sort of riding through, avoiding everything. Keep your distance from this magma pool, and you won't trigger the boss. It's another worm. Actually should have probably tried killing it. It would have dropped enough runes, I assume, considering this is a later game area. But other than that, here's the village. You just want to head straight through it. And there is another boss, so you want to quit out. That way you can talk to the NPC. And the NPC has quite a wind-up before it actually gives you the spell. So you don't want to trigger any fights, because you got to stand still. But there's a spell. Right, so now there's a few more things we gotta do. So we need more runes, and we also need another memory slot. So kill 3 turtles, grab the memory stone, and now we're back to the abandoned cave, and we're gonna be heading to the crossroads, where another dragon boss is. So it's fairly simple, just follow the path. We can finally level up. Almost there, 8 more levels. So the dragon's pretty simple. You can sort of just use rock sling to stagger it. You do just want to keep your distance a little bit and avoid all the poison clouds. Just make sure to run out anytime it does do the rot breath, because it has tick damage, plus it can infect you with scarlet rot, and it's really bad. Other than that, just try and bait out some attacks, either the tail swipes, the bites, the frontal breath, even the little leap where it flies up and slams down. And then you really want to aim for the head, so you can either stagger it and also does significantly more damage. So yeah, so bait out an attack, get a cast off. Yeah, Rock Sling is quite a strong spell. It's very useful for bosses. Again, you really want to make sure to use your foot, because we are still a little bit off. I think it's another around 80 or 90,000. So after this boss, there's a few things you can do. You can take on some other easy early game bosses, or you can go up to the circled area and take care of the dragons there. The best thing about the dragons is you can just sort of stand in front of them and button match the spell, because it will just stagger them. I think it's every 3 hits, and then they even drop the flask charges, so you can pretty much do a run and kill every dragon there. Rest and then repeat, and I think it was 2 or 3 runs, get the remaining levels needed. I think all in all, this this has taken me 2 hours, but obviously it can be done fairly quicker. I was planning along the way. It's a very, very good way to start the game if you want to use mage. You get a couple of really strong spells, just have fun steamrolling everything. Right, so we can level up, finally hit 60, head to the hold, equip the spell, and give it a go. It's a cool animation. It's a bit trickier to line up than it looks in practice. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. Thanks for watching.